Welcome back to the channel, you guys. Welcome back. I got this TP Power 4060 here, closed in-bell 1900 kV motor that we need to change the motor bearing in. All right, got these TRB ceramic bearings. TRB 120136. All right, that's your part number. And we're going to disassemble the motor here. Okay, you can hear the bearing has some play in it on the shaft. Alright, so we're going to disassemble it and change the front and rear motor bearing. Alright, should be pretty straightforward, hopefully. So let's get to it. It's raining today, and this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. I'm going to go ahead and remove these screws here. I've already taken it apart a couple times, kind of cleaned it up. She's all clean. I think I'm about putting this in my Sonic Wake V2. I got some salt water in the boat. I actually need to go through the V2 motor and actually change out the bearings in it. So I'm going to be switching the motor out here shortly. Alright, you guys can see all the rust and grime that's on that bearing. I've even cleaned this motor out. Let's get a piece. Got a piece of balsa wood I'm going to set my rotor on. Alright, we're going to pull the rotor out. There's shims in these motors. Got one here, and there should be two on the back. They're in the can, so we need to get those out. Keep these shims with your rotor. Same side, they got to be put together back, put back together the same way. Now this rotor is not Kevlar wrapped. This is a motor I was using in my Limitless when I had my Limitless, and I got rid of it, so I've been using the motor for my boat. It's been working all right. Now I will say that the rotor had some rust on it, so I cleaned it up with some light sandpaper, and the inside of the stator had some rust in it, and I took a wire brush, a round wire brush on my Dremel, and in and out on this stator, blew it out real good, and she's clean now. She's clean. It had rust on this inner stator. Okay, so that's not good. Alright, so we got the end bell off here. Okay, what I like to use to remove my bearings out of a motor, especially if I'm not going to be using the bearings. Oh, let me get all this. So you don't want this on your motor. That's aluminum shavings. Let me get all this cleaned up. Alright, got all that stuff, most of it off anyway. My drill vise. And then I'm just going to set my cap on my vise right here. It gives me something to work on, so I can punch my bearing through. And I've got a drift right here that fits in my bearing pretty good. Okay. And I'm just going to kind of give it a tap. Alright, a little tap on that bearing. It should pop right out, hopefully. Make sure it will pop out. So the vise should only be set, the width of the bearing. If you have the vise spread out real far on the edges, you may warp your end bell. Well, that was easy enough. Jeez. Alright, so that's out. Oh man, look at that bearing. Gee. Bad, son. Look at that. This bearing's no good, so I can do this. Wow, look how bad it was. Damn. So these ceramic bearings should be a little bit better suited for a boat, They're not going to get loud on you. You know what I mean? Get a sticker and your bearings. So hopefully it's the right size bearing. Where's my bearing? There it is. Yep, that's the right size. And probably don't need to do this. I probably don't need to do this to the to this bearing. But I am. I've been using Corrosion X in my bearings, and I've had like 0 loud bearings here lately since I've been putting Corrosion X in my bearing. I just kind of put a little bit on the outside there, and it'll kind of seep in. I know they're sealed and everything, but it'll actually seep in. So I'm going to let that sit there, and we're going to try to get this back bearing out. Hopefully I don't have to remove the end bell. Hopefully I could just kind of tap on it like I did the front one and it come out. So here goes nothing. All right. Oh yes. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Super simple. Okay. Hopefully I don't have you guys zoomed in too much. So the back one was bad too. Yeah, the back one's pretty bad. Look at that. Both of them are bad. Alright. So I guess you need to make sure there's no grime where your bearing's gonna sit. You know, make sure it's clean of no grime and debris. I'm just going to use an old scrap cloth here and kind of wipe it down so we get a nice seat with our new bearing. Alright, I'll slide this in here and kind of clean out where the bearing's going to sit on the back end bell. Alright, that looks good. Okay, so I'm going to take my new bearing. I'm going to wipe most of that corrosion X off so we can get a good seat. I'm just going to drop it in there. Alright. So I've got it kind of dropped in there, and I'm going to use a little bit larger drift to kind of get it situated in there. Alright, and I'm going to get an even larger drift. Okay, got a big fat end on it, and we're going to try to gently push that bearing into place without messing up the sides of the stator. You don't want to scar, ding, or damage the inside of the stator, the inside of the can. But we need to make sure we got a good seat here. I'm going to use my small hammer. Thank you, Steve Lane. Just kind of tap that bearing into place. I felt it kind of slide into place there. And we're just going to kind of lightly tap all the way around. Make sure it's seated properly. Yeah, see it? See how it's seated in there? Hopefully you guys can see it. See inside the can. Alright. Alright, we're going to drop our new bearing into the front here. Wipe that oil off. You don't want oil on your rotor and all that stuff. Or at least I don't think you need oil on your rotor. I've heard guys spraying their rotor inside their motor with WD-40. I've never done that. Alright, that's seated nicely. And we're done. Okay, make sure you got your shims on the back of the motor. Okay, that went in there nice. Alright, and we're going to put our end bell back on, end cap. Get your holes lined up there. Batteries are done. I'm actually going to be doing a surf and turf video. I got the 42 on a trailer. How about that? And we're going to pull it with the X-Max. We're going to launch it at the boat ramp. Alright, and we're going to need some Loctite here for our screws. Use blue so you can get them out. Alright, and I've been tallying up the votes for this motor, and it looks like it's almost a tie for the hydroplane and the Miss Geico. This is that little 2040. So we may just throw it in the hydroplane while I'm blueprinting the bottom of the Miss Geico, you know, so we can run it in both boats. Should be coming up here shortly. Alright, got the Loctite on, and put our motor back together. I'm gonna solder on some connectors, and we'll throw it in the V2. You know, I have to take the battery box, the receiver box out the V2 so we could fit this long can motor in, but it should work. I'm gonna use that 150 offshore electrics. I've ran that offshore electrics in the Delta Force with this motor, and it actually did all right. I mean, this motor definitely needs more power than a 150 fly color, but we'll do a couple runs, just kind of feel it out. Hell, I was also thinking about putting this motor on the Hydra in my Blackjack 42. Ooh, that might be a good combo, huh? What y'all think? Alright, get it good and tight. Alright, and she's done. No more play. No more play. Alright, no more play. So she's done. She's done. Okay. I'll throw those old bearings out. They're no good, so I don't get mixed up with anything. Okay. And that's basically how you change out the bearings in a motor. Okay, you start hearing loud bearings, or when you move your motor shaft side to side and you hear like a clicking sound when you go side to side, you definitely need to think about replacing bearings. I'm going to be doing it in the Sonic Wake V2 motor here shortly. Going to get the same bearings, these TRB, RC, and or Jim's Bearings is a good bearing company to get your bearings. I've had good luck with Jim's Bearings in my ground vehicles, my Creighton and X-Max and stuff. So, yeah, we're going to get some connectors soldered up here and get this bad boy back on the water. She's not doing me no justice sitting on the bench here. So, we'll see you guys next time. All right, thanks for watching. Big B with Ironclad RC.